This will be part of my weekly to monthly Yu-Gi-Oh! Update deck profile, featuring obviously Kuriboh and my lovely new custom mat. So let's get started by showing off the deck profile. For the beginning, you have obviously 3 Kuriboh. I'm getting the parallel rare, secret rare Kuribohs in the mail soon, so sadly that's all I have for these guys. Then 3 Winged Kuriboh. I don't have them all in the Hobby League different art color and different names, but I will hopefully one day. Next you have 3 Relinkuriboh, which is the heart and soul of the deck ever since Linkuriboh came out. If this card is tributed, draw 1 card. If a monster you control would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Because it has perfect synergy with Linkuriboh, which we'll get to later. 3 Rainbow Kuriboh. When a monster declares an attack, you can equip this card from your hand to that monster. It can no longer declare attacks, and if this card's in the graveyard, you can banish it to special summon itself. 3 Kuribohrn, who makes this deck amazing. It's a themed soul charge for any Kuriboh monster by banishing, and if a card's destroyed by battle, you can discard it to special summon it back at the end phase. 3 Battle Fader. Battle Fader is just good on its own terms because, you know, special summon it when someone declares an attack, and it's also used for Linkuriboh. Plus, it's a level 1. 3 BLS. And 2 Chaos Dragon Levianeers, who are the new cards from the Soul Fusion set. Sadly, I don't have the same rarity for all the BLS, but hey, Chaos Dragon. They add a lot of synergy to the deck because light and dark targets. And with Linkuriboh, you create your own dark target with your light Winged Kuriboh. So it powers up your deck immensely. Lastly, for the last monster, we have 1 Darkest Diabolos, as this creates great synergy due to the Linkuriboh tributing off Kuribohs. Then, for our 3 of the spells, the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh, which lets you special summon or add a Kuriboh from your deck to hand, and 3 Multiply, which allows you to tribute a regular Kuriboh to special summon as many Kuriboh tokens, and you're still allowed to special summon after that, which means Link plays Free Firewall, Bora Sword, or Borload. After that, we have the 2-ofs of Scapegoat, and as said, Free Borload, Free Bora Sword, and Free Firewall. Then we have the 1-ofs for the rest of the deck. Upstart and 1 Day of Peace for draw. Hornet drones and 1-for-1 for another Linkuriboh play. Monster Reborn and Soul Charge in case you want to do even more board setup. Dark Hole and Regeki for board wiping. Because this deck, when only ever it has board presence, it's because it's wiped out your opponent due to its long grind game. I would say this deck is on the same level as Burning Abyss due to its ability to beat out people with a long, drawn-out match. And then completely wipe the board. Then for the extra deck, we have 3 Linkuriboh. As said, with Relinkuriboh, if it's on the field, you can tribute with Linkuriboh, get a draw from it, and if Darkest Diabolos is in your graveyard, you can have it to be special summoned, tributing Linkuriboh or tributing itself to get rid of a card in your opponent's hand. Very powerful and effective play. You also have Wee Witch's Apprentice, because you end up having a lot of darks on field, and it's nice to always have recursion back to your hand. if you need to bring back, for instance, Chaos Dragon, a Relinkuriboh, or so forth. Nightmare Cerberus and Nightmare Phoenix, both great cards, easy to co-link because of Linkuriboh, and get that draw. Plus the discard power of having your Rainbow Kuriboh in the graveyard or your Kuribohrn in the graveyard. I thought about main decking Twin Twisters, and I might do that, but I'm currently going to eventually vie for a danger build in this deck, because they don't care about being discarded. And it also sets BLS up. 1 Boarload, 1 Gumblar Dragon, 1 Saryuja, 1 Nightmare Griffin, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Firewall. Please be banned. Please get banned. This is a stupid card. Not that stupid in this deck, but still a stupid card. Boarload is Boarload. Outs pretty much everything. Gumblar is nice because you can always get rid of their hand and you don't care about your hand. Saryuja I don't make anywhere near as much as most people do. I think it's not as good in this format, especially with this deck. Nightmare Griffin is a godsend to stopping your opponent from having monster effects. I love it. It's really easy to make sure that you have a Linkuriboh in front of it and this on board to stop them. Also, you can reset a soul charge or anything, and it's really powerful. Boral Sword outs pretty much everything in this game. Outs Ultimate Falcon, and it won me a game against Armor Master, and I used Monster Reborn to take their Blackwing Armor Master. For the Link 3s, Decode Talker, Triple Burst Dragon. They're alright. Decode is a tribute target for Darkest Diabolos. And finally, Akashic Magician for the 1 times when you have a Mech Knight in front of you that you want to bounce back to their hand. And the reason why you do that is so that you can trigger any of the quick effects of Indigo, or you can immediately stop your opponent from using World Legacy secrets to negate something big. And that way you can get out of column, or you can at least get the mill off of this, which is even better with when you excavate cards. So that way you can grab what you need and set up all your other resources in the graveyard. Mainly what I call for is a BLS when I do that. Sometimes I use the Flute, or I'll say Soul Charge. Soul Charge I rarely call. But this deck is surprisingly really powerful and consistent. You could put in a Chaos Dragon Levianeer, another copy, in, for instance, for Multiply or Monster Reborn. I don't care for Monster Reborn as a card, honestly, or Soul Charge, but in this format, they're killer, and they always help you win, no matter what, especially when you have Boral Sword or Boarload who can completely outboss monsters. So being able to bring back a Boral Sword or Boarload, or take their own Boral Sword or Boarload, is really powerful. Chaos Dragon Levianeer you can bring in, however, because you can shuffle card back or destroy 2, and it doesn't target. It's amazing. I never use the light effect because none of my cards really care about special something back. So it's all right. It's not bad. I think it's a good card. Granted, it's also another dark target for BLS. Or besides that, you can run Card Destruction. Card Destruction is great in this deck if you weren't running so many spell cards. I think it's a great card in general. It really helps out this deck, setting up your Kuribohs in graveyard. Sadly, not every single Kuriboh has a graveyard effect, so Card Destruction I don't think is as mandatory or necessary. There is a danger build of this, which I will do an updated deck profile for. I think it's extremely consistent. I think it's extremely powerful. And, I mean, it's built for going second. It can also go first. It just has a lot more power going second. In the danger build, you're going to run Twin Twisters, so you can get even more popping power. I think it's probably one of the most effective builds I've ever seen for danger when it comes down to a rogue strategy, other than Phantom Knights, which will also be coming up next week. But that's it for my deck profile. I will show you right now test hands with this deck. I think you're going to actually be extremely surprised by what it can do, in the sense of if your opponent has something. even if not, and you're not impressed by the test hands and the playtesting of it, this deck isn't meant to build a big board on its first turn. It is simply meant to stall out the game, set up the graveyard for the greatest play that you are probably ever going to see in your life from what would be rogue strategy. Because this is just like Burning Abyss and can easily win a YCS. So, 5 cards. Draw phase, standby, main. You have 2 winged, 1 Relink, 1 BLS, my prettiest version, and Flute. Activate Flute to special summon from the deck. Or you could set and try to wait and hope for the multiply, which was 2 cards away. It's not a bad idea, but you never know. So, to special summon, I would do a Winged Kuriboh. But we already have one, so I do a normal Kuriboh so I can set up better for BLS plays. Because it can already send Winged Kuriboh by normal summoning it. Shuffle the deck, cut, and shuffle once again. And cut one more time. Rainbow Kuriboh is special summoned. Normal summon Rainbow. Not linking 2, but link here and link here. For link and link. I don't bring up BLS right now. It's not worth it. I think it could be easily destroyed, so you pass turn. If they attack, link, and if they can attack again, well, you will just honestly have to take the damage. But stopping 2 major attacks in this format, most monsters, when they OTK, it's not doing a full-on OTK. Relinkuriboh is already amazing as is. You completely out your opponent. And when Borosword attacks, he's just worthless after this. Most people only can set up 2 monsters with the Borosword OTK, which most decks do. Besides that, yeah. So then it goes to your second turn. So you will draw for your second turn. You drew Scapegoat, which is beautiful. So you can set that at this point, or you can wait till your second main phase is set. What I'm going to do is normal summon Relink, Linkuriboh quick effect, even if they try to negate effect or so forth, it tributes as cost, so you already get the effect off, and you draw. You draw 1 day of peace, 1 day of peace, draw. Upstart Goblin, draw. You have 2 BLSs now. You could simply use the Winged Kuriboh, or you could save it. I personally would advise to save it. I will still, however, set. They attack, doesn't matter. You can even still use the effect. You don't have to. So do what you want. So you say you use the effect, doesn't matter, 1 day of peace. You get your draw for your third turn, cool. You get a Rainbow Kuriboh. Also, on their end phase, you've used Scapegoat. So you have 4 tokens up. That's free board load, free so forth. It's just beautiful. It's amazing. So you'll use 1 token for a link. You might use 2 tokens for a Wee Witch, or you could use a token and link for a Cerberus to pump a card and send Rainbow Kuriboh to graveyard as cost. Sadly, it's not co-linked. Or what you could do is use the graveyard effect of 1 for a token, and Linkuriboh for Cerberus, cost of Rainbow for a draw. You get Darkest Diabolos. That's beautiful, but you've already used Linkuriboh's effect, so sadly you can't really tribute any more in this turn, which is disappointing, I understand. You can now use the link and that guy to go into, for any instance of Akashic, if there's a problem, you could have gone into Akashic already. You can go into Wee Witch, which is what I will do. It's not bad. No matter what this deck can, it has a lot of ability beyond what you have. But you can also now normal summon Rainbow and go like this with still 1 token on board for 4. Bringing out, we'll say, Borosword, because he is honestly the most common. And your whole graveyard set up for BLS plays. You've just banish, or you can banish 1, because you've already destroyed one with Cerberus, supposedly, and so he can attack twice. He can switch him to defense and attack twice on his own, and you've won the game. This deck has amazing potential and has amazing stall potential. Even if there are negates and so forth, you can set this, and you'll avoid all battle damage for the whole entire turn if this card's destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Which is why against the 6 Samurai lockout build, you set this. They attack with the rank 4 guy who locks you out of doing anything but setting your cards. He attacks, it goes to graveyard, they have to pass, you draw. You set, they attack, they have to pass, you draw. Over and over and over again. The same with Rainbow Kuriboh. They attack, Rainbow Kuriboh. They pass. Like, this deck has such a amazing ability to stall out any opponent. This is an amazing and beautiful rogue strategy. You could run There Can Only Be One in this deck, because Winged Kuriboh is a fairy, and he's the main one you'll be summoning, or Kuriboh. Because these two are the main ones you'll most often summon, or most often see. It's Fiend and Fairies, and you often don't flood the board completely with them. The other card you're summoning most often is Relinkuriboh, who is a Cerberus, BLS, who's a warrior, and occasionally Darkest Diabolos, even though he's a one-of, you'll see him more often than you think, is a dragon. You can run There Can Only Be One in this deck. I think it's beautiful. I think it's a really good idea. Yeah, that was a test stand. I would say you should try this out on YGO. I think you're going to like it. And even if not, I think you should pick it up as a casual deck. Anyways, that's me signing off. Y'all have a beautiful day. Pass turn.